Welcome to Pretty Lies and Alibis. Let's seek the truth and travel the long road to justice together. What you know, Alibiers. Welcome to another episode of Pretty Lies and Alibis. I'm Gigi. Good to have you here on this Wednesday. Man, the week's flying by. Seems like it was just the weekend, but hope you're doing good wherever you are. I appreciate you guys sending me pictures of where you listen. I have people that send me photos of like beautiful walks in the morning, and they're like, I'm listening to you. I love that. Be sure to hit subscribe. If you haven't, if you're watching on YouTube, give the video a like. It helps promote the podcast, and I appreciate you doing that. I'm not doing the music fact today because I'm going to tell you guys this case with Harmony Montgomery, there are no words. And we cover heavy stuff every day on this podcast. It's true crime. It's kind of obvious that the content's not going to be pleasant. There's different weights to these cases that we cover. Anytime you cover a case that involves a child, there is just something extra because that's an innocent person that had their whole life ahead of them stolen by evil people. And it seems like every day we're learning that some other child has been killed. The details in this case absolutely made me sick. So we're just going to jump in. This was a very, very lengthy file. And so I'm going to have to split this into two separate episodes because when I try to upload something that's over an hour, which I believe this is going to take between two episodes, sometimes it stops and I have to restart and babysit it. And even on Ethernet, it's just these files are huge, as you can imagine. First off, Harmony's ex-stepmother, Kayla Montgomery, she got a sweetheart deal. And I'm just going to put it out there. I think maybe you'll agree after we start going through the facts of this case that with the knowledge she had for months about what happened to Harmony and the fact that essentially they carried this poor child's remains with them from place to place to place. They were kind of transient, sleeping in cars, sleeping in homeless shelters, and then ultimately getting an apartment. There's so many different weights to the cases we cover, and they all are equally horrible. But some cases have a little bit heavier weight than others to me, especially when it's a kid. Children depend on adults to keep them safe and healthy. And every day we're seeing cases where parents are doing the opposite. They're hurting and killing their kids. We covered Chad Doerman earlier this week, lined up his three sons and executed them. Just came off Lori Vallow, JJ and Tylee, the way they were killed and discarded and found. Heartbreaking. Gannon Stauk, found in a suitcase under a bridge. This is a huge trigger warning. This is very graphic. This is very disturbing. Completely understand if you just can't listen, but I have a lot of listeners out there who don't have social media, who don't have access to these documents, don't know how to look at the documents for whatever reason. So I'm going to go through all the pages of this document and read it in its entirety. It's going to have to be two episodes because with the size of the file, doing video especially, it's really hard to upload anything longer than 45 minutes. So I'm just going to split it in two because it was over 50 pages, but I think her story needs to be told. That's kind of a passion of mine, is no matter how bad the details, tell their stories. The world needs to know what happened to these kids at the hands of parents and guardians. So we're going to jump in, and Kayla Montgomery, Harmony's stepmother, she pled guilty to lying to a grand jury and also about the last time that she saw Harmony. She's cooperating with prosecutors in the case against Harmony's biological father, Adam Montgomery. In exchange, prosecutors dropped the charges that she lied to state health officials about having Harmony in her care in order to collect welfare benefits, and also that she received stolen firearms. She was sentenced to 3.5 to 7 years in prison, with 1.5 years of the minimum suspended and credit given for time served. If I looked at this correctly, she could be out in a year or less, maybe 1.5 years, but not a huge amount of time. And she knew the entire time where that child was and what Adam had done to Harmony. So that blew me away when I found out how little time she got for this. On the other hand, her admission is what they needed to be able to get DNA evidence and facts in this case to charge Adam with her murder, because as of now, Harmony's body has not been found. The other thing is I'm saying biological father. This is not a dad. This is a sperm donor. He was anything but a father or a daddy to Harmony. But he was recently found guilty on weapons charges, and he faces several decades in prison. This case for Harmony has not gone to trial. I do not know if he plans on just pleading guilty or taking it to trial. If he does, we'll be all over it. But let's get into the facts of the case. And I'm just going to give kind of a brief summary of the history with Harmony and her biological contributor and her mother and Kayla. Harmony was born in June 2014 to Crystal Sorey and Adam Montgomery. Adam, at the time she was born, he was in prison for shooting a man in the face during a robbery involving a drug deal with heroin. This incident was caught on camera, and it's alleged that Harmony's mother, Crystal, was in the car at the time of the shooting, as well as her brother, Jason. Adam was actually shot in the arm with his own gun after the victim wrestled the gun away from him. He pled guilty to lesser charges and received an 18-month sentence. Between August 14th and January of 2018, Harmony was removed from her mother, Crystal's care 3 times due to neglect related to drug use. Harmony visited Adam in prison in January and July of 2015. In September of 2015, Adam is released from prison and moves to New Hampshire. 1 year later, September of 2016, Adam reaches out to the Massachusetts Department of Children and Families asking to have visitation with Harmony. He saw Harmony once a month for 5 months, and then in February of 2017, he stops responding, and I'm going to call it the DCF, to visit with her, just kind of fell off the map. But 11 months later, in September, he contacts DCF to see Harmony. He sees her again in August of 2018, which was 11 months later. In July of 2018, Crystal loses custody of Harmony due to addiction issues, and Harmony was put into foster care. December 19th of 2018, the Massachusetts Department of Children and Families asked for a home study by the New Hampshire Division of Children, Youth, and Families at the Montgomery home in Manchester. According to New Hampshire officials, the request did not include the necessary information they needed in order to do the home study. In February of 2019, Adam is given legal custody of Harmony by a family court judge in Lawrence, Massachusetts. And the DCYF is notified of this, and the decision was made before they got the information they needed to do that home study. Easter of 2019 was the last time Harmony's mother, Crystal, saw Harmony alive and well, and this was on a FaceTime video. July 29th of 2019, the DCYF received an anonymous call alleging abuse against Harmony. The caller said Harmony had a black eye. So there was a visit to the home by Child Protective Services. And then whoever visited with Harmony sent an email to Manchester police saying there was no eye injury seen, and it seemed like it was just brushed aside. August 7th of 2019, another Child Protective Service worker visits Harmony at her home. Adam, Kayla, the stepmom, and their 2 children were there, as well as Harmony. It was noted that Harmony had a red mark inside of her eye, as well as older bruising under her eyelid. And of course, Adam explained to the worker that Harmony got hit with a toy by a younger sibling. Adam and Kayla have 2 biological sons of their own. And so there were 3 kids in the home at the time that Harmony was alive and well and living with them. October 1st, 2019, that's the last visit by a DCYF worker. The report said the children seemed happy and healthy, and the allegations of abuse were unfounded. But the worker did note the Montgomerys were high risk for future child welfare concerns. December 7th, 2019, Harmony is murdered by Adam. January 8th of 2020, there is a referral to DCYF about the Montgomery household. Adam tells the worker that Harmony is now living with her mother in Massachusetts and had been with her since Thanksgiving of 2019. January 21st, 2020, a voicemail is left for Crystal, which is Harmony's mom, to confirm that Harmony is with her. However, that call was not returned. Fast forward from January 2020 to September of 2021. A person close to Crystal, who is Harmony's mom, sounds the alarm and says Harmony has not been seen by her mother since Easter of 2019. So DCYS finds out that Harmony has not been registered at all in any school in Manchester ever. And they try to locate the Montgomerys. So that's sort of the short timeline before we get into the documents, and the timeline will kind of unfold from here. Adam currently is charged with second-degree murder, tampering with witnesses and informants, and falsifying physical evidence and abuse of a corpse. The filing starts out by saying the investigation is still ongoing and there are additional witnesses to be interviewed, and other witnesses may come forward once the new charges become public. This was sealed until after Adam's weapons charge trial, which just concluded a couple of weeks ago. And then they had 10 days to unseal this. That's why we're getting this just now, by the way. On November 18th of 2021, the Manchester PD received a call from Crystal Sorey, Harmony's biological mother. She reported that Harmony was in the physical custody of her ex and the father of Harmony, Adam Montgomery. She said she had not seen Harmony for over 6 months and she was missing. The last time she saw was April 21st, 2019. Police say this was the only call they had ever received from Crystal. And Manchester PD checked the address they found for Adam, but the family was not there. December 27th of 2021, the DCYF notified Manchester PD that they were unable to locate Harmony. That prompted this investigation to begin. Over the next few days, Manchester PD learned that Harmony had not been seen since October or November of 2019. Now, mind you, this is the end of December of 2021. You're talking about 2 solid years. Nobody saw this kid and nobody missed her. Harmony's mom, Crystal, lost custody in July of 2019 to the state of Massachusetts, in part due to substance abuse issues. She said both her and Adam struggled with substance abuse. Since she lost custody, Crystal became sober and tried unsuccessfully to locate Adam and Harmony throughout 2021. Adam and his partner Kayla had blocked Crystal on social media, also phone numbers, and Crystal tried to find Harmony by contacting various schools and driving by addresses associated with Adam, but no luck. She talked about the last time she saw Harmony on the FaceTime call around Easter 2019. She said Adam was visible in that call and she thought Harmony seemed frightened. On December 27th of 2021, members of the Manchester PD make attempts to find Adam and also to talk to the involved family members to verify the last time Harmony was physically observed and known to be safe. They made contact with Adam's relatives who live in Florida, and then they learned from his relatives that Adam admitted to giving Harmony a black eye back in July of 2019. If I recall correctly, I do believe the uncle called this in, and that may have been what spurred that report or the visit by the welfare service that we just talked about. They get into the interviews with Kayla Montgomery. Her first interview was December 28th of 2021. Kayla and Adam have 2 biological children together who are, by the way, alive and well. During the interview, follow up with Kayla, she was asked when she last saw Harmony, and Kayla said sometime in November or December of 2019, and that was one morning prior to her going to work. Kayla said Adam was driving Harmony back to be with her mom, Crystal, who was living in Massachusetts at the time. Kayla said she believed Harmony had been returned to her mother, and Kayla said she never saw or heard from Harmony after that day. Kayla said she had not seen Adam since late October of 2021 and had not spoken with him since around mid-November of the same year. Kayla said Adam was living in a sober house and had left the area to live in Maine with another woman. December 29th, 2021, Harmony's mother, Crystal, sends a letter to the mayor of Manchester asking for help to find her daughter, Harmony. On December 31st of 2021, police made contact with Adam and his new girlfriend, whose name is Kelsey Small. They were sleeping in a car in Manchester. Kelsey said she had been romantically involved with Adam for over a year, and she knew Adam had 3 other children. She said Adam was not in touch with any of his children at that point, and she said Adam never once talked about Harmony, and she had no information on where Harmony was. And just a note, this same woman, Kelsey Small, was found dead in Manchester in March of last year. Foul play was not suspected. When police were interacting with Adam on this day, they stressed their concern that Harmony had not been seen in over 2 years, and they were worried, is she still alive or not? Adam showed no emotion to the officers as they talked to him. On December 31st of 2021, Kayla met with detectives voluntarily and talked about the last time she saw Harmony. She said 2 days after Thanksgiving, which would have fallen on November 30th of 2019, Adam took her to work, which was from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. at a Dunkin' Donuts in Manchester. She said Adam told her he was meeting Harmony's mother and that Harmony would be staying with her from that point forward. Later that day, Adam picked Kayla up from work and told Kayla he had just dropped Harmony off with her mom. Kayla's version of events worried detectives because Harmony's mother, Crystal, said she never took custody of Harmony from Adam and never saw Harmony again after that FaceTime call way back in April of 2019. Now, in November of 2019, Crystal was living in Massachusetts with her boyfriend, Joseph Eckert. On December 31st, 2019, Joseph was interviewed and confirmed he was living with Crystal, and Harmony was not with Crystal from October 2019 to the present. In fact, Joseph said he had never met Crystal's daughter in person. Investigators reviewed all the documentation from the DCYF, and it indicated that social workers had not seen Harmony since October 1st when they visited Adam's home in New Hampshire. This is where it drives me bonkers. So you've got DCYF saying this family is at risk in the future for these children being in unsafe situations or neglect or whatever. 2 years later, there's no follow-up, like none. Just fell through the cracks. In addition to family not seeing Harmony, the DCYF contacted the Manchester School District on September 10th of 2021 and learned Harmony was never registered in the district ever at all. On December 31st of 21, the Ninth Circuit Family Division of Manchester granted protective supervision of Harmony to the DCYF from Adam through a juvenile abuse and neglect ex parte order. At the time of the order, Adam had been Harmony's sole custodian. He was ordered to cooperate with the Manchester PD and assist with locating his daughter. Detective Riley served Adam with that order on the afternoon of the 31st in 2021, but Adam refused to provide any information on the whereabouts of Harmony, and when served, he told Detective Riley, quote, "Either arrest me or I'm leaving," end quote. He refused to answer any more questions after that. Well, Adam was arrested on January 4th of 2022 and arraigned the next day. The charges were for second-degree assault for the incident in July 19th, where she had the black eye, and interference with custody, and 2 charges of endangering the welfare of a child. He's been in custody ever since, as we know, just found guilty. He's going nowhere. So here is Kayla Montgomery's grand jury testimony from May 20th of last year. Kayla testified under oath before a grand jury in Hillsborough County. She was asked about the last time she saw Harmony. She said it was 2 days after Thanksgiving, which would have been November 30th, 2019. She repeated the story of Adam dropping her off at work at 6 a.m., but all Dunkin' Donuts in Goffstown said Kayla was not working there at the time. Records from the New Hampshire Employment Security showed the only employer who paid Kayla in November of 2019 was a Dunkin' Donuts in Hooksett, New Hampshire. And that Dunkin' Donuts said that Kayla was fired from that location on November 23rd of 2019. She had an arrest warrant issued for perjury because she lied to the grand jury. She was arrested on June 3rd of last year, and the same day, Kayla participated in a proffer interview at the Manchester PD, and her attorney was present for the interview. So let's dive into this very first proffer interview. She admits to lying during her grand jury testimony, and she said she had information related to Harmony. Kayla said the family, which was herself, Adam, Harmony, and their 2 young boys, were evicted from their residence on Guildford Street in Manchester the day before Thanksgiving back in 2019. They were living in their car, which was a Chrysler Sebring. They stayed in the parking lot of Colonial Village on River Road in Manchester, where their friend Anthony Badero lived. Kayla said from that Thanksgiving up to the beginning of December, Anthony saw Harmony and the two boys and would wave at them. She also said that Anthony brought them Thanksgiving leftovers while they were still living in the car. According to Kayla, Anthony saw Harmony all the time and they would wave at each other. Kayla said the car broke down on December 7th, 2019, and Adam hit Harmony, which caused her death. Kayla said in the time they were living in the car, Adam became more and more frustrated because Harmony would not say she needed to use the restroom and was having accidents in the car. Kayla said after each accident, Adam would get upset and would hit Harmony in the face or the head with a closed fist. On December 7th, prior to the car breaking down, Adam hit Harmony in the face and head on 3 separate occasions with a closed fist because she had an accident. This happened while Adam was driving the car, and Kayla said they were on their way to Burger King on Route 3 in Manchester. Kayla said Harmony was in the rear seat on the passenger side, and Adam turned his body and delivered 3 to 4 blows with a closed fist to Harmony's face and head on 3 separate occasions over the course of just a few minutes. Kayla said the last time Adam hit Harmony, Adam said something to the effect of, he felt or heard something when he hit her and said, I think I hurt her this time. I think I did something. According to Kayla, Harmony began making a moaning type of noise, which went on for around 5 minutes, and then it stopped. Harmony was not taken, obviously, for any medical attention, and Kayla said after they went to Burger King, they returned to the parking lot of the apartments that they were staying in. I'm adding something from her second proffer because it just kind of fits in here. In her second proffer interview, she said when they got back to the parking lot with the kids in the car, including Harmony, who had been murdered at that point, they got heroin and fentanyl from this Anthony guy, and both she and Adam used the drugs before they left the parking lot. Nobody checked on Harmony, and Kayla says she can't remember what they did in those 20 minutes. This was in that first proffer. I just added the second. It shows her still lying. After 20 minutes, they left the apartments, and then that's when their car broke down, and that was around 8 or 9 in the morning. Manchester police records show the car was broken down at the intersection of Elm Street and Webster Street at approximately 12:11 p.m. on December 7th, 2019. When the car broke down, Kayla said that was the first time both she and Adam realized that Harmony was dead. Kayla said Adam went to the trunk of the car, removed clothing from a black and red Under Armour duffel bag, and placed Harmony's body in the bag. She said neither of them talked about getting any life-saving measures for Harmony, and that Adam simply put her in the bag and walked it back to the parking lot of the Colonial Village apartments. Once they were back at the apartments, Anthony, the guy who gave them heroin and fentanyl, knowing they had kids in the car, by the way, drove them from the apartment complex back to their car to get their things before it got towed. Kayla said Anthony allowed them to stay in his car that was parked in the parking lot for 2 to 3 days over the weekend. While staying in Anthony's car after Harmony's murder, Adam kept the bag with Harmony's body inside the trunk of the car, but also would let it out in the snow to slow the decomposition. Now, here's Anthony Badero's grand jury testimony. He testified on March 21st of last year. He did allow the Montgomerys to stay in his car for 2 days the weekend immediately after Thanksgiving. He said he brought them leftovers, and he did not see Harmony in the car, only Adam, Kayla, and their 2 boys. He didn't ask where Harmony was, and he only saw Harmony twice, once in August and then in September of 2019. He said when they left the car, he let them stay in. He's pretty sure Kayla said that they were going to her mother's place. He wasn't aware if they lived in a different car in the parking lot of his apartment for any additional days. He said they could have stayed in their own car before it broke down, but he wasn't sure. He knew that after they were evicted, they had a gray Chrysler, but didn't have the car when they arrived to stay in his car. When they came to stay in his car, they were dropped off by a female friend of theirs, and they only had their 2 sons and formula for the baby and diapers. He said they had nothing else, not even a bag of clothes that he saw. He had another proffer interview on September 22nd of last year. He met Adam through Kayla in 2019 and admitted he did provide crack and fentanyl to Adam and Kayla. Anthony would also buy their food stamps from them prior to them staying in his car and also after. We have another interview with Anthony from September 22nd of last year. And some of these facts sort of stay the same, but there are some variations between like Kayla's proffers and things like that. So I'm just going to read all of it so that you can see what investigators had to kind of weed through and comb through to get to the facts. He said he met Adam through Kayla in 2019. He admitted he did provide crack and fentanyl to Adam and Kayla. Are you tired of choosing between taking care of your skin and wearing makeup? I find that most cosmetics have ingredients that make my skin dry, or that most clean makeup just doesn't do what I hope it would. I'm really, really glad I found Kosas. I love Revealer Concealer because it's packed with active skincare ingredients, and it offers creaseless medium coverage with a smooth, radiant finish that looks like your skin, just brighter, more even, and healthier. Take the 5-step Shade Finder quiz to find out your perfect match. My current favorite is the Glow IV Vitamin Infused Skin Illuminating Enhancer. I can skip using highlighter because it's in the makeup. So don't choose between wearing great makeup and taking care of your skin. Right now, Kosas is offering my listeners 15% off your first purchase of $50 or more when you go to kosas.com/whattheworld. Go to Kosas, KOSAS.com/whattheworld for 15% off your first purchase of $50 or more plus free shipping. That's kosas.com/whattheworld. Anthony would also buy their food stamps from them prior to them staying in his car and also after. How are they selling food stamps? They have kids. Jesus, these people. After Thanksgiving 2019, Adam and Kayla came to him with just their 2 sons and not Harmony and asked if they could stay with him because they had been evicted and their car had broke down. Anthony doesn't remember how they arrived at his house, but they came with very few belongings, and he does remember a trash bag. Anthony offered them the car to sleep in, and he was confused about when that was. He initially thought they came the weekend of Thanksgiving, but he was confronted with the information that the Montgomerys still had their car. He said it could have been the weekend after, which would have been December 7th through the 8th of 2019. We know the 7th, that's the day the car broke down. That's the day Harmony was murdered. He said he gave them Thanksgiving leftovers, which investigators say would have been old leftovers if it was the next weekend. And he said he also gave them a pizza. He repeatedly denied seeing Harmony and only knew they were staying in his car for 2 nights. When Anthony was told that Kayla said Anthony had seen Harmony every day and would wave to her from Thanksgiving to the beginning of December, he said Kayla was lying. He was asked about helping the Montgomerys retrieve their belongings from the broken down car, and he said he doesn't remember that happening. Now, Donna Deemer's grand jury testimony, this is from May 20th of last year. This is Anthony's girlfriend. She said the only time she ever saw Harmony was in September of 2019, and she was with Anthony at the time. She said the leftovers they gave the Montgomerys were fresh, and they gave it to them either Thanksgiving Day or the next day. She said she looked inside the car they were staying in and she only saw the 2 younger children and was positive that Harmony was not in there. She said she only stayed at Anthony's part-time and mainly stayed with her parents in Derry, New Hampshire. She remembered the Montgomerys arriving at Anthony's apartment and said they appeared stressed and mostly concerned about getting drugs. She remembers them carrying a duffel bag and trash bags. When asked if she remembered the duffel bag, if it had any colors or anything identifiable on it, she thought it did, but could not remember what color it was. She wasn't aware if Anthony helped them get things from the car after it broke down. She also remembers Adam, Kayla, and their sons and was adamant she never saw Harmony. She again says she brought fresh leftovers the day after Thanksgiving to the car, but when confronted with information about the Montgomerys still having their car that weekend, she said she may not be remembering the car correctly. She said when she brought the leftovers, she remembers the 2 boys were jumping around in the back seat, but she didn't see Harmony. At the time, one of Adam and Kayla's sons was 2.5 and the other was around 10 months. And it's noted in this report that it would be highly unlikely that a 10-month-old would be jumping around. Investigators believe that Donna may have actually seen Harmony without realizing it was her. So we move into Facebook and Google search warrants. Records were obtained from late November to early December of 2019. Location data from Google was consistent with them staying in that apartment complex from November 27th through December 8th of 2019, which was consistent with Kayla's time frame of them staying there. Another witness, Kimberly Frayne, interviewed during the investigation, recalled personally interacting with the Montgomerys while they were staying in Anthony's car during the overnight hours of December 7th. That's the day Harmony was murdered, into December 8th. She went to help the Montgomerys because Anthony's car had died, and Kayla was worried that the family was in danger from the cold. Kimberly said she did not see Harmony, and it was just Adam, Kayla, and the two boys. Facebook messages exchanged between a guy named Matt and Kayla also confirmed this date and time. She reached out to Matt about Anthony's car dying and worried about the cold. So apparently Anthony's car broke down as well. The message dates also confirmed Kayla's time frame of them staying in the car. There was an interview with Courtney and Matt. On January 5th, 2022, investigators spoke with Courtney, who said her husband, Matt, had known Adam their whole lives. Adam used to work for her. She said she and Matt saw the Montgomerys, including Harmony, on Thanksgiving night 2019, and they were living in their Chrysler at the time. She had a conversation with Adam between approximately December 2019 into January of 2020. Adam said Harmony was with her mom, Crystal, and that the exchange happened really fast. He said Harmony wouldn't stop having accidents in her pants and she was better off with her mom. The same day, investigators spoke to Matt Garcia separately from his wife, Courtney. He said he met Adam when they were 14 and considered Adam a friend. The only time he saw Harmony was Thanksgiving of 2019 when Adam, Kayla, and the three kids were all living in a car. Why do these people not call Child Protection Services knowing that three kids are living in a car? I don't get it. Like, raise your voice. I mean, if you see something, say something. Jesus. Matt told investigators a phone call that he had with Adam on New Year's Eve of 2021, which was after news had broken that Harmony was missing. He asked him about it, and Adam said he had talked to police that morning and he didn't know why police were bothering him because he took Harmony to her mother after Matt saw Harmony on Thanksgiving. Matt said Adam told him Harmony would not quit. He used other words. It was pissing and pooping everywhere in the car. Adam said Harmony was driving him nuts. We were living in the car, so I let her. I had her mom come and get her. Adam said Harmony was having her accidents everywhere all the time, like every 5 minutes. We were living in a car. I couldn't take it. I had to give her back to her mom. Investigators note this is consistent with Kayla saying Adam was getting mad about the accidents inside the car. We move on to finding Harmony's DNA in the Chrysler. Investigators located the car the family lived in after being evicted and the car in which Harmony was killed in. There was a call for service on December 7th at 12:11. That's consistent with Kayla's story that Harmony was killed that day. The tow truck was on scene from 12:52 to 1:39 p.m. and the car was treated as an abandoned car. And the tracking report made by the tow company noted on December 16th, there was no power to the dash and any attempt to jump the car resulted in the car immediately starting to smoke. The car was eventually sold to a used auto parts business on or about January 29th of 2020 and was located by the Manchester police on January 1st of 2022. The owner of the business consented to the search and the seizure of the car. When they searched the car, they found a pink Trolls electronic toothbrush, and that was admitted as evidence and submitted to the New Hampshire State Police Lab for DNA analysis. A buccal swab was taken from Harmony's biological mother, Crystal, by consent, and that was submitted for comparison. The results were that the DNA from the toothbrush cannot be excluded as that from a biological child of Crystal's. It's at least 108 billion times more likely to see these genetic results if the DNA profile obtained from the toothbrush is from a biological child of Crystal than an untested, unrelated random woman. Harmony, of course, the only female child that Crystal has, and they concluded the DNA on that toothbrush was Harmony's. All right, so now we get into some really disturbing stuff, which is the movement of Harmony's body by Adam Montgomery. Harmony's body was moved to Kayla's mother's residence In her June 3rd, 2022 proffer, Kayla explained how Harmony's body was moved to various locations over the course of the next several months. She said after living in Anthony's car, they moved in with her mother and her mother's boyfriend, John. Kayla said when they arrived at the home, Harmony's body was still in a duffel bag, and it was placed inside of a red cooler with a white top in the common hallway of the apartment building. She said the body was left there the entire time the family stayed with her mother until the end of December of 2019. On February 18th of 2022, Kayla's mom testified before the grand jury and said in December of 2019, Adam, Kayla, and their two sons moved in for about 2 to 3 weeks and left on December 30th or the 31st. Harmony obviously was not seen with them, and Kayla told her mom that Harmony had been sent to be with her mother, who was at a rehab facility in Massachusetts. Christina, by the way, is Kayla's mom. She said, in the time frame of December 2019, she wasn't aware of Adam or Kayla making any effort to get in touch with either Harmony or Crystal. She also said neither one of them cried or seemed upset about not having Harmony. After Kayla's proffer interview, the investigator went to Kayla's mom's residence and needed to get that red cooler with the white lid. Christina said the cooler had been in her bedroom closet for 2 years, and when asked, she said the cooler had been in the common hallway previously. Christina and her boyfriend consented to the search, and the cooler was found and submitted to the state lab. The tests were negative for the presence of blood. There was no suitable fingerprints on that cooler. Harmony's body moved to Families in Transitions Shelter on Lake Avenue. It's called the Fit Shelter. That's how I'm going to say it from now on. They stayed there from December 30th, 2019 until February 20th of 2020. In her June 3rd, 2022 proffer, Kayla said after leaving her mother's house, the family moved into the Fit Shelter in Manchester, New Hampshire on December 30th of 2019. Kayla said the Under Armour bag with Harmony's body inside was brought to the Fit Shelter as well. Kayla said Adam placed it in the ceiling vent in the bedroom and that there was liquid coming from the bag at this point as well as an odor. Adam placed a trash bag around the duffel bag to keep it from leaking. Detectives searched the Fit Shelter on June 4th of last year and located the ceiling vent in the bedroom. They attach a photo in the filing and you see bunk beds and there is a ceiling vent directly above that top bunk. They removed the vent to check the top side of the ceiling sheetrock, and next to the opening for the vent, detectives saw a large area of staining. There was a smell consistent with decomposition. A large section of that sheetrock was removed, which included the stain, the metal framing, and the hole for the ceiling vent. The vent itself was also taken. Forensic testing on the ceiling section from the shelter with the metal framing attached together with the vent were submitted to the state lab for testing of serology, DNA, and fingerprints. On June 10th of last year, a lab worker wrote that 13 areas of friction ridge detail were developed. 6 of those came from the metal framing attached to the sheetrock and 7 on the metal vent itself. In a report from July 6th of last year, the lab employee said not all areas of the fingerprints were sufficient to be identifiable, and some areas contain multiple impressions. The lab worker noted and analyzed 10 identifiable impressions, 9 from the metal vent and 1 from the metal framing. All 9 of the impressions from the metal vent belonged to Adam Montgomery. 3 of those were from his left middle finger, 2 from his left little finger, 1 from his left ring and middle fingers, and 1 to his left index finger, 1 to his right index finger, and 1 to his left palm. Other prints were identified to a man who actually was a drywall installer who worked on the building. On June 9th of 2022, the serology testing on the ceiling produced several samples for human fluids. The state lab attempted DNA analysis but was not successful due to the presence of inhibitors. 2 samples were cut from the area of staining and sent to DNA Labs International in Florida, as well as Harmony's DNA profile. When tested, one of the samples from the stain and the sample from the metal framing had an insufficient amount of DNA. The other sample from the stain indicated a mixture of at least 2 contributors, one of them being a male. The samples, however, were inconclusive for comparison purposes. When the metal framing was removed, they found dark stains under some of the metal framing pieces. That was sent to the same lab for testing, and 2 samples were collected from the sheetrock and then combined into 1 sample. It ended up being Harmony's DNA. The report notes that there's limited support that Crystal and Adam are not contributors to the DNA profile obtained from the sample. Further testing was performed on that ceiling sheetrock, and in a report from September 14th of last year, forensic DNA analysts noted that another sample was taken from the sheetrock, which indicated a mixture of at least 2 individuals. Harmony Montgomery, Crystal Sorey, and Adam Montgomery could not be ruled out as possible contributors to the mixed DNA profile. On June 23rd of 2022, Kayla participated in a second proffer interview. Further testing was performed on the ceiling sheetrock, and in a report from September 14th of last year, a forensic DNA analyst noted that another sample was taken from the sheetrock, which indicated a mixture of at least 2 individuals. Harmony Montgomery, Crystal Sorey, and Adam Montgomery could not be ruled out as possible contributors to the mixed DNA profile. On June 23rd of last year, Kayla participated in that second proffer interview. She described a time when the maintenance worker came to check the vent in their unit at the Fitz shelter. They were actually in apartment number 1. After a complaint from another resident who Kayla identified as Paula from apartment number 5. Kayla said that once people at Fit started saying they could smell something, Adam took the Under Armour bag containing Harmony's body, which was inside of a trash bag inside that was covering that Under Armour bag, took it from the ceiling and put it all inside of another trash bag, then replaced it in the ceiling. Kayla said that once maintenance was called to check that vent, Adam put the trash bag and the Under Armour bag, which contained Harmony's body, into the closet, and Kayla stated that when maintenance checked the vent, they said it must have been a dead animal or something because they didn't see anything up there. Paula was contacted by investigators on July 28th of last year by phone. She said that Adam, Kayla, and their 2 kids moved into that Fitz shelter about 2 to 3 weeks after she moved in. She did remember Adam one time talking about Harmony, and when asked where Harmony was, Adam said Harmony was with his mother, which would have been Harmony's grandmother. I asked her about a complaint that the Montgomery's apartment smelled, and she said it was her friend Mandy who actually made the complaint. She stated Mandy dropped off some clothes for the newborn and noted the apartment smelled. She stated that Mandy now is unfortunately deceased. They found out this is someone named Amanda Crosby, who Kayla identified as being a female who lived at the shelter. Maintenance reports from the shelter showed that on February 5 of 2020, while the Montgomerys were still in apartment number 1, the residents of apartment number 2 reported a slight odor when they turned on the heat. In addition, on February 21st, there was a report of a weird smell coming from the vents inside apartment number 1, and it was requested to be looked into. The request was made just after the Montgomerys had moved out. Kayla's first proffer interview back in June of last year, she had stated that after living at the shelter, they moved into an apartment at 644 Union Street in Manchester. Police were previously in possession of a lease agreement that was apparently signed by Adam and Kayla on February 20th of 2020 for themselves and 2 children to lease 644 Union Street, second floor, apartment number 2. Kayla said when they moved into the apartment at 644 Union Street, they brought Harmony's body with them. She said Adam put the Under Armour duffel bag with Harmony's body, which was inside 1 or 2 trash bags, to her knowledge, into a plastic bin storage container, which was then pushed on a stroller from the shelter to the new apartment. Kayla said Adam first placed the plastic bin storage container into a closet in the bedroom. Kayla said that Adam at one point took the Under Armour bag out of the plastic bin storage container and that the Under Armour bag was leaking. Kayla said Adam put another trash bag around the Under Armour bag and placed it into the refrigerator. Remember when they executed that search warrant? If you followed this case, we saw them bring out that entire refrigerator with like biohazard stickers on it. That's the one. Kayla said at some point after Harmony's body was in the refrigerator, Adam transferred Harmony's body from the Under Armour duffel bag into a new bag. Kayla stated that this happened in the bathroom, and she said on the day in question, Adam spent 4 to 6 hours inside the bathroom at their new apartment with the shower running. This is very triggering, but she said that Adam placed Harmony's body inside of what she described as a Catholic Medical Center maternity bag. The bag was much smaller than the Under Armour duffel bag and would likely not fit Harmony's body unless it was either dismembered or grossly distorted. I looked up these bags. It is a typical tote bag, like a bag you would take to the store if you don't want to use their bags, if you want to bring their own. It was very small. Kayla described an odor coming from the bathroom, and she saw steam coming from the bathroom when Adam would open the door. Kayla recalled the scent of cleaning supplies in the bathroom, and when Adam had finished up, Kayla said that afterwards, Adam placed that maternity bag inside the freezer in the new apartment. She said it was a standard over-under combo, which I think that's a pull-out freezer on the bottom. After Kayla's first proffer interview, investigators obtained a maternity bag they suspected might be the same type as the one in which Harmony's body had been placed. During Kayla's second interview on June 23rd of last year, she identified that bag they got as a sample as being the same style as the one Harmony's body was placed in. In her second interview, Kayla said that Adam actually transferred Harmony's body from the duffel bag to the maternity bag while they were still at 177 Lake Avenue. She said that this happened about a day or two after maintenance checked the vent in their unit, and the bag with Harmony's body were in the closet during that 1 to 2 day time frame. Kayla said Adam made the transfer to the maternity bag in the bathroom of the shelter apartment, zipped the maternity bag shut, and then put it in the closet. Kayla stated that she herself then brought the maternity bag containing Harmony's body to Adam's place of work. Portland Pie Company restaurant on Elm Street in Manchester. This is while they were living at the shelter. This was done at Adam's request the same day. He transferred Harmony's body into the maternity bag. Kayla said she pushed their sons to the Portland Pie Company in a front-to-back stroller. And get this, y'all, the maternity bag with Harmony's body was between the two boys in the stroller. Kayla said Adam kept the maternity bag with Harmony's body in the walk-in cooler at the restaurant for a week or so. The bag was then brought back to the shelter before being brought into the apartment when the family moved. In speaking with former Portland Pie Company employee, a man named Cameron, he stated that he had worked at the restaurant as a server and the front of the house until about a month before the restaurant closed. It should be noted that Portland Pie Company in Manchester closed on or about March the 1st of 2020. He did recall seeing that maternity bag in the cooler on a couple of occasions, both on the floor and the shelf, but never questioned Adam because he knew he had children because it was a maternity bag. So he described the bag as a tote with straps and stated it was possibly white with red or pink on it. He confirmed he had seen Adam and only him handling the bag and bringing it in. On August 23rd of last year, Cameron was shown a photograph of the bag and confirmed it was the exact same bag he had seen in the cooler. Former Portland Pie Company employee Emily, who worked as a delivery driver, also vaguely recalled Adam tucking a bag into the cooler, but couldn't remember any details about the bag itself. Adam worked at the restaurant as a dishwasher and a cook between January 14th of 2020 and February 22nd of 2020. These witnesses corroborate what Kayla said about bringing Harmony's body in the maternity bag to Portland Pie Company and Adam keeping the bag in the cooler there. We're going to stop here. It gets worse, y'all. It gets way worse. Disturbing stuff on every level. And I'm going to tell you, You guys know my stance on the death penalty. In most cases, I'm just like, let him rot in jail, but they should fry this guy. I'm sorry. This is human garbage. And I cannot for the life of me understand that Kayla could be walking free in a year or less. It blows my mind. And I can only hope that the children that she shares with Adam are safe and will never be in her custody. She aided and abetted this for months. And I understand her testimony was crucial to nailing Adam to Harmony's murder, but at the same time, they could have got her for murder too. And I would have held that over her head in a big way and got her a much stiffer sentence. But hey, I'm not the judge. I'm not the lawyer, whatever. Just mind blowing what this precious child endured living with the man that should be protecting her at all cost. And all the people that did not speak up, knowing children were living in cars in the cold. I hope they have a hard time sleeping at night, because had one of them called CPS or the police, those kids would have been placed in a safe environment and maybe this would have been avoided. So tragedy all around. So many people failed this precious little girl. We'll get to part 2 tomorrow. Hope you guys have a good rest of your evening.